Hi,
Okay,
hi everyone.
hello.
Good
Hi
morning.
again, everyone. Good morning on the Saturday morning. How's the weather in your side, Lawrence? Is it rainy or is it
The
bright and shiny?
It's bright and shiny. Yeah, it's pretty hot these
Oh,
few days. Yeah, so it's actually a very good weather. Yeah, sunny. I like it. Yeah, especially on a Saturday morning. Yeah, it's
mm-hmm.
actually a perfect weather for a webinar.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's a different weather in Indonesia right now. In Jakarta, it's a bit gloomy. And then I think the rain already start raining a bit 30 minutes ago, but hopefully our participants can still join today's sessions.
yes,
So without further ado, let's start.
yeah. I hope the weather doesn't affect
Yeah.
turnout. Yeah. Hopefully everybody can sit down. Grab a coffee and then enjoy the session. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's bring up the slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to I think this is our third sessions of GDSC
Mm,
Skills Up.
yeah.
So hopefully you enjoy our session so far.
Mhm.
So in this session you will learn from Dairin about getting to know the roles. Number two about software engineering role. So if you are interested to become the software engineering I think you can ask a lot of questions to Darren later. So let me do quick introduction. My name is Febria. I'm a technical project manager for Google Developer Southeast Asia team. And here today, I also have my friends here together with me. Lawrence, can you
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself as well?
Yes, correct. So I'm Lawrence from the Google Developer Relations team. I work very closely with Prebia. So yeah, so maybe before we continue, maybe I can do a quick introduction about Google Developer Space. Yeah. So
Yes.
hi, yes, correct. So Google Developer Space, right, is a platform for developers and startup around the region to learn, connect, and engage and be inspired. So yeah, and welcome to our Google Developer Space channel. And today's session, right, is actually brought to you by our lovely technical project manager, Phoebia. Yeah, she's a wonderful woman, and she actually took a lot of effort to plan this session. Especially, this can really benefit the tech community, especially those who are entering to the workforce. Yeah. So, like what Phoebia had mentioned just now. So, I think a lot of people who have questions. What does it take to be a software engineer? So if you have any questions for the speakers, please put your questions in the comment section and we will answer them later on. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So pass it back to you, Pribia.
Okay. So before we start listen to Darren sessions, let's do some play. I always love to play in the morning.
Yeah. I think it's
So
energized.
yeah. So the first questions, feel free to put your answer on the comments, YouTube comments. The first question is, what is your latest favorite movie? So I would like to know because I think I'm still stuck in at home right now, so I just need some movie recommendations. What did you? What is the movie that you watched last time, Lawrence? What is your favorite one?
Uh, I think same as you because like taking care of children. So I'm actually at home most of the time. But I watch on Netflix and on Disney Plus. Yeah. So I think the latest movie I watched on Netflix was The Founders. I think that's actually about the McDonald's and the business. Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. I think it's actually it's actually an old movie, but it's actually fun
Mm-hmm.
to actually rewatch that.
Okay,
Yeah,
we got one
cool.
suggestion here. Dune. Have you watched Dune?
No, I heard a lot about Doctor Strange.
Oh, I watched Doctor Strange. It's really good.
Okay, looking forward to it.
But
I'll
somehow
have to
it's
watch
like a
it.
horror movie. So if you don't like
Yeah,
horror or shocking movie, though, I think you need to prepare yourself.
Young Sheldon. Yeah,
Oh,
Big
interesting.
Bang. I
Watch
watch
anime
anime.
rewatch.
Wow.
Oh, interesting. Interesting
Uh,
suggestions.
I guess a lot
Okay, thank you.
of,
Mhm.
no, I guess a lot of people is watching a lot of different type of show, different genre.
Yeah, I know. I also love watching Korean drama, so if you need suggestions, you can just
Mm.
ping me.
Yep.
Okay, to the next questions. What is your favorite superheroes, Lawrence? Are you like Spider-Man or are you like Batman or other superhero?
Wow, I thought you're gonna, put pictures where you, yeah, when I see that you put an icon, right? Are you hinting me to talk about Spider-Man and Batman?
No, 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 no. Because it's hard to find the other icon, you know.
Oh, it's difficult to find. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think superhero. Um, I really like the Hulk and Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these two are actually a superhero that I like. Yeah, it's very different lah. One is actually talking about power, and the other one is really a lot of technology. Yeah, very fancy. Yeah.
Oh,
So we have
okay.
Aman. Aman say Doctor Strange. I believe Aman actually watched Doctor
Yeah.
Strange already, right, Aman?
The latest Doctor Strange.
Yeah, cool. Just yes, yeah.
Okay. Do we still have questions? Oh no. Okay. Now back to the
Mm,
topic. Let's learn today.
mm,
Today it's our GDSC Skills Up talk series. This is our third sessions. So this event will run starting from May 10, 2022. So it's already 2 or 3 weeks back
mhm, mhm,
until June 30 next month. So
yeah.
if you want to learn about your careers and then learning it from the industry expert, feel free to join us through these sessions.
Mhm,
There is some more upcoming topics that we will cover. The first one is still getting to know the rules because I believe that some of the new fresh graduates still doesn't know like what is the industry looks like, and when you like browsing around, seeing the career page, there are some unfamiliar roles coming up, and you actually when you read the job description, oh, I think probably I might fit with this role, but I'm not sure what is the day to day looks like and stuff like that. So we will bring that to you. And then the next topic that we will also cover is planning your about your tech careers. So whether you should be a manager or you just want to be individual contributors, how you should plan it. We will also cover that. And the last topic is about how you can transition from students to young professionals, because I think the environment is and then you are working. So let's learn the tips and trick from the industry experts as well. So yeah, if you haven't registered, feel free to register to our website here, goo.gle/gdsc-skills-up. And if you have friends or family that you think might also needs this type of session, feel free to also share it with them. And next is I will also sharing a bit about Google Developer Students Club. So if you want to learn about leadership and then how to build a community in your areas, in your universities, this is your chance. So this is our last week of the application for 2022 and 2023 applications for Southeast Asia regions. So if you're interested to become one of our leads, feel free to register through this link, goo.gle/GDSC-app-skills-up. I think the application will be closed on 31st of May. So please register yourself soon as possible. So yeah, I think next is Lawrence. Do you want to introduce what is Google Developer Space?
yeah. So okay. So we like I might mention, right? So actually, Google Developer Space, right, is actually a place where we really hold events and a lot of different webinars to actually connect the community together. So like I think Freebie is doing, to connect the community. I think this is what we are looking at. Yeah, so we really hope that the all the developers and startup around the region to actually learn and connect and be engaged and be inspired. Yeah. So yeah, we can actually follow us on our social media channel. So recently in Singapore, we actually start to do hybrid events. So
Mm-hmm.
we actually have run physical events. We actually gather different developers coming together, to network and to say hi to each other after a long time. Yeah. So feel free, to join our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel, so that we can actually give you the latest update. Yeah, and you can actually sign up through all these our platforms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Don't forget to
feel free to
scan.
connect with
To
us.
scan.
Yes.
To
Scan this
scan this
QR code
code.
and yeah, and get
Yeah.
the latest update from us. Yeah.
Okay. Don't forget, guys. Okay. Now let's learn from the expert. Let's getting to know the rules. Now
Mm.
it's our third sessions, and it's about getting to know the role of software engineers. Let's learn from Dairin Janagap. She's a software engineer at Spartanum Software Switzerland. So I will not steal Dairin's spot. I'll let her introduce herself. So let's call Dairin to the stage. Hi, Dairin.
Hi, Darren.
Hello, it is so nice to be with you here right now. And yeah, yeah, so thank you so much. I am so excited to be here with you. Alright. Okay.
Okay, I think do you are you ready to start your sessions?
All right. So yes. So hi everyone. I am Dairin. So I've been in the tech industry for quite a while now, and our community, Google Developers Group Bacolod, and Women Tech Makers, we provide visibility and resources in the field of technology, where we encourage innovation and creativity in the field of technology. Okay. So before we start, maybe we can play some game. If you can go to slido.com. So this is the link. And then once you are in the link, and you can enter the 115035 as our code for the question. What toy did you play the most as a child? All right, so let's wait for some answers. So we'll just know what toys you played the most as a child. All right, so we will wait. So in the Slido, you just need to type 11535 to input some answers, right? All right, no toys, only chess. Okay. I used to play that one too. Wow, what a programming, a logical game. What else? PlayStations. Wow, yeah. Mm-hmm. Rubik's cube. Yes. Marbles, toy guns, Harvest Moon. Wow, doll. Barbie. Okay. What else? All right. So, growing up, I was not fond of Barbie dolls. I preferred robots that moved and made some sounds, and I even envied my brother back then when I was growing up and used to borrow those toys from him. I am not saying that playing with Barbie dolls is bad. It wasn't just my thing, and I think that might be one of the many factors why women are behind in spatial skills compared to men, because we women didn't have toys that offered the same opportunities for refinement than what boys had. We were just told to like comb Barbie's hair and play cooking toys, I was thinking back then, where did it start? That Barbies are for girls and guns or cool toys, logical games are for boys. Okay? So my journey of being amazed by what society calls as boy stuffs did not end there. I even decided to take up a male dominated field, which is to become a programmer. The people whom we first imagine as an Asian guy with an hoodie or a white guy with glasses and some ties. But then, when I started my degree, gender equality in the field was already flexible. It was not like I was the only girl or just 10% were girls. Gender diversity was already seen, but women are not yet that seen. Men are really good in logical stuff, and there's a lot of coping up women should do. What do I mean by this? Um, Having been in an industry where male dominates it, I began to learn about it and came to a point where we also do workshops for free and just to have that visibility. And then later on, two of my friends, we decided to give free Arduino workshops because I am also into Internet of Things. All right, so some of my projects and yes. So let us now proceed to our objectives for today. So, what is software engineering? We are going to learn about that. What day today? What is the day to day of a software engineer? Uh, how to crack hiring process for software engineers, and why choose software engineering? All right. Okay. So, first one, software engineering. When we say software engineering, what is its main aim? So, for me, the main aim of a software engineer or software engineering is to develop reliable and efficient softwares. Software engineering is committed to delivering quality softwares. All right. So, yes, and software engineering is also a branch of computer science that deals with design, development, testing, maintenance of software applications. And what is the difference between software engineer and software developer? For me, the simplest way to put it is that software engineering applies engineering principles and knowledge of programming language to build software solutions for end users. So, when I say engineering principles, what are those? By engineering principles, we mean by ideas, rules, concepts, like, for example, testability, maintainability, integrity, ethics, and management. So I will share to you some of the techniques uh, we used in our company, which is I know is really not that familiar or how you haven't heard of it yet. But in our company, we are using what we call an NSD. NSD is a Nazi-Schneiderman diagram. In computer programming. It is a graphical design representation for structured programming. These diagrams are also called structograms. All right. So it is following a top-down approach to the problem hand to reduce into smaller sub-problems. So you can subcategorize them. Okay. So Naji Snyderman are rarely used for formal programming. Their abstraction level is close to a structured program code for modifications required to the whole diagram to be redrawn. So usually it is being used in European countries such as Germany, Switzerland, and actually this has been standardized in 1985. Okay, all right, next one, the TDD, which we call the test driven development. It is a software development process relying to converting the test cases first before software is fully developed. And so in our company, we also practice what we call paper debugging, where this technique of paper debugging is used to simplify, analyze, and solve issues. So in our company, we practice first documentation before testing, before implementation. Like, for example, in the documentation stage, we see what are the specifications, we make clear what is the aim of a certain module for our feature. Alright? Um, Also, it describes input and outputs, what are the side effects of our functions, of our feature. There are like any special conditions how to use the module. It is a good practice to explain it with a drawing. It is always nice. For example, you have a very complicated approach, data, or concept. It is always good to start slow. What is the very basic? What is the basic functionality of it? And yes, a good practice is to explain it with a drawing, because once you can draw it, you can explain it, you can implement it. The next thing we do is samples help to understand the module even before we implement it. During the creation of test samples or test cases, we might be able to detect some bugs in the whole concept. So that means we will not go documentation, implementation, testing, and then when we test, we saw some problem, we go back to implementation, and then the cycle goes on. So before we implement something, it is good approach. I mean, in our company, it is a good approach that before you implement something, you covered almost all test cases. Okay. All right. So lastly, the implementation. So you implement it with C++, C Sharp, the PHP, Python, or anything. So the idea behind this concept is the earlier the bugs are detected, the better. Writing the specifications or the test samples takes a little time. And while writing it, you might already detect some misconceptions or bugs, which are usually detected only in a much later part. Unfortunately, what happens in our industry often is like the reverse: implementation, testing, and then we document it, right? So my boss always tells me, like, okay, but what if we are in a hurry and we really need to do it right now, as in now? If we are under time pressure, then the above rules, documentation, test, implementation, are even more important because it will save us time. Okay? All right. So, the aim of software engineering, or us as software engineers: no bugs, low maintenance cost, fast development, and happy end users. All right? All right. So, a day in the life of a software engineer. So usually in movies, or yeah, movies, series, we tend to see software engineers as cool guys, girls, who really into like keyboards and everything. But actually, in real life, we know that is a lie. All right. So I will just share a bit of my journey on how I became a software engineer. All right. So in a normal working day, we try to solve problems, not to create problems. We think of ways to solve and simplify processes. That is what we do as engineers. We automate, we debug, test cases, implementations, and then meetings. All right. My journey into software engineering was not an instant one. My tech career started with tools like as basic as MS Access, then moved on to developing websites using WordPress. Then the next project was with Android application, and the next was with desktop applications, and then now a hybrid web application. There are some pros and cons to what has my journey been. It was nice that I was able to try various development technologies, but at the same time, it was difficult to transition from one programming language to another. If if given a chance or another opportunity to change that, I think it would be nice if in my first few working years I was given the opportunity to focus on just one technology to have a much deeper understanding. Because software engineering is really like an interesting field. I like to create applications. Yeah, I like to create applications where the software interacts with various hardwares. All right, next one. Tips on how to crack your first software engineering interviews. Okay. So you always hear people say that we are lucky to be in the technology industry because of the opportunities. Like opportunities are great and it seems to be a progressive industry, which is true. What they don't know is that tech industry per se is a very broad industry. So we can count all the specializations or fields available, and like every once in a while, there is a new role, a new technology, and it's pretty intimidating industry. So to crack your way to software engineering interview, we need to remember things. First, research, research, research. Learn about the company. Learn about how they describe the role of a software engineer, because each companies describe software engineering roles differently. Like in one company, SE do little coding and more on planning and analyzing, but on the another, they code and plan at the same time. Next, we prepare for our soft skills and technical interviews, like the phrase, show me, don't tell me. You have to prove that you have the skills required to do the job, rather than just tell the interviewer that, yes, I can do it, I have experience with that one. As the saying goes, anyone can write a code that a computer can understand. But a good programmer writes code that humans can understand. No developer knows everything. You don't need to know everything, like all programming languages, all approaches. The great thing about our industry is that you don't need to know everything as well. You only need to know how to solve the problem. Next, try thinking rather than coding. I have one person who told me before that Einstein quoted, "If I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd rather spend 55 minutes out of 1 hour thinking about the problem and 5 minutes about the solution." What is the point of this phrase? The point he made was preparation has great value to problem solving. Because yes, we cannot solve if we do not understand the problem. What is the root cause of that bug, of that problem? Remember, listen to understand, not listen to respond. Also, we have the STAR approach, where the situation, task, action, result. Situation, see the scene, how it is. Task, describe the purpose. What is that one? Action, explain what you did. Uh, how did you do it? Result, so share the outcome of your result. What is the result of that action you took? Last but not the least is don't bargain yourself just because you are a rookie in the industry. Bargain in a way of, let's say, salary and learnings. As soon to be software engineers, you guys, as soon to be software engineers, I believe it is important to seek good mentors rather than good salary. Prioritize your growth first. Uh, like you have a lot of years ahead of you. Never negotiate against yourself. And yes, so now I will try to sell to you why software engineering, why choose software engineering. Okay, so Software engineering is important because specific software is needed in almost every industry, in every business. For example, function, for every uh, openings of companies, we always need software engineers to run, to automate their functions. It becomes more important as times goes on. Yes, this is right. Because if something breaks within your application portfolio, a quick, efficient, and effective fix needs to happen as soon as possible. And what else? Software engineering is really great field for you if you love or you're into working with computers and problem solvings. If you are someone that has experience in programming or designing, you may also enjoy software engineering. Yes, it rewards innovation and creativity, but demands accuracy and massive attention to details. All right. So, what do we see here? All software engineers are programmers, but not all programmers are software engineers. So, in one of our sessions last time with IWD 2022, I really like what one of our speakers, Ailea T, had shared to us. Like, um, our first boss plays a very important role in our future career progressions. They will be the first one to set the tone to our perspective of work culture ethics. So for upcoming professionals in tech industry, always look for an environment where allows you to grow and enjoy at the same time. Look for mentors. Find a boss who treats you like a human, not a robot. It might sound cliche, but it is really true for me. Find a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Give back to your community, help someone, teach someone, guide someone. Right? Okay, so this has been Dairin, and I hope you learned something today. So, yes, let us continue to lift each other up regardless of job titles, gender, race, and all the fractions there is. We are lucky to have a community like this, which allows us to learn, to explore more, and expand our knowledge, right? So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Darin. From participants, if you have any questions, feel free to put in the comment sections so we can pop up your questions and then Darin can read it. While waiting for the participants' questions, I have questions for Darin. From your experience, like project that you're working on as a software
Mm-hmm.
engineer, and why?
I again, sorry, you were choppy.
I'm a bit happy. Okay, let me spell the questions again. So what is
Mm-hmm.
the biggest challenge? What is the biggest or the hardest challenge that you face as a software engineers, and why?
Ah, yeah. So maybe the biggest challenge would be we as engineers, we try to build, we are honed to build softwares, to create softwares, but a software engineer also would try to destroy the system to have like a
Ooh.
bigger angle for that one. So at the same time, you build and you try to destroy it, try to find the bug, which is you as a culprit. So it is not focusing on just one part. So software engineering
Mm-hmm.
is really a broad having a broad perspective. So yeah, for me it is hard, but at the same time it is fulfilling to like to juggle from one part to another, like playing chess, both the white and the black part. So yes, it is enjoyable and challenging, which is good because there is no such thing as stagnant.
Okay. Okay, there are two questions here. Let's read the first one from Arul. What are the main things I need to learn as a software engineer? Probably this is
Mm-hmm.
tips and trick from Dairin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for me, software engineering requires first logical thinking. The most important part, be logical. Hone your logical skills, your thinking skills, and then later on the tools will just follow. But always go with the basics. Learn how to explain, express the problems and your ideas. So yes.
I also agree with you because I think on the last sessions with the cloud engineer
Mm-hmm.
sessions, the speakers also mentions the same thing. So instead of learning about the tools, you need to learn about the fundamental first. Then you can jump around the tools after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first
Yes.
one is learning the fundamental is important, and the
Mm-hmm.
second one I think you also mentioned about the communication skills, like how you giving out or sharing your thought to others, also important, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, actually, I might share. My boss, he is actually a mechanical engineer, and
Ooh.
programming or software development is just like a minor subject, or uh, how how did they call it in Switzerland? Like an elective per se. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like my boss is really very into the syntax, but he is into
Oh.
structures. Structure. He
Mm.
always say that structure, structure, structure. It will save you, something like that. So yes, basic logical skills. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks for the tips, Darren. Okay, I hope this answer your questions, Arrow. Next, we also have question from Fan here. What is your number one unspoken tip about the tech industries?
Unspoken tip. Wow. Uh, that in tech industry usually we tend to say like we know everything, like we know how to Google stuff and per se. But my unspoken tip would be oh, actually I am torn to what would I say in that part, but um, I would say unspoken tip would be don't be shy to ask help, even though you have 10 years of experience. Like in tech and industry, we always tend, oh, I've been in the industry for quite a while. I've been 15 years, 20 years in the industry. It is such a shame that I ask someone who's been in industry for 2 years or something. So it's like in tech industry, we don't know everything, but we can always ask around. So unspoken thing, ask around, don't be shy, and yes, you might learn and share something also.
Agree. I think don't be shy and please don't hesitate to ask if you don't know the answer, and don't hesitate to say I don't know. I'll get back to you once I have the answers. I think that's better one instead of giving like a wrong answer to the persons. Yeah. I think hope this answer your question, Fan. Next we also have questions from Muhammad Aryananda. What do you
Mhm.
do when you are confused about a bug? This is
Uh-huh.
the
What?
challenge of the developer.
Yes, yes, yes. Every time we have a bug, we
Darren, are you still there? Or this is my internet connections?
always something that is hello, hello. So
Yeah.
I guess
Oh,
it was
you're back.
mine.
You're back.
So
Okay,
how's
you're
my
back
signal?
now.
All right, that's good. Yes. So yes, uh, what do you do when you are confused about the bug? When we are confused about the bug, we try to trace the bug. always focus in one area first. Don't overwhelm yourself to have it as a general one. Try to dig one step deeper at a time, and then always don't underestimate the power of lagging, because that is the best way to trace a bug, not just to circumvent it or do a quick fix. My boss always tell me uh, never hide something under the carpet, or just to
Oh,
quick fix something because we need it right away, because later on that is what we call we will experience technical debt, and that is a no go in our software development uh, guidelines.
mhm. So speaking about the technical dApps, probably can you
Mhm.
share a bit about it? Like, I also curious, like, what is the technical dApp? I read some
Mhm.
books or some articles
Mhm.
about software engineering also, and
Mhm.
this technical dApp is always mentioned. So I was confused, like, okay, now what is the
Mhm.
reality of the technical dApp? So I would like to understand from the
Mhm.
expert. Can you share a bit
Wow.
about?
So it's like, for example, we tried to save some time, and we
Mm-hmm.
tried to save some time by doing a quick fix. But later on, that quick
Okay,
fix will result to a even
bigger bug
bigger problem. Yes.
problem. Yeah.
And having bugs in production will make our customers angry, and that would mean a
Mm,
profit loss. So that's usually how my boss would explain to me. And yes, so that's how I will
okay.
and once our reputation of our product is tinted, that is really hard
Mm-hmm.
to get back in track. So yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next questions. From Reza, what is the difference between software engineers and software developers?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Earlier, I also said that software developer is like he creates programs, develop programs, and all. What is the difference with software engineer is that we have engineering principles. So we try to use concepts, techniques of in our approaches that we are going to use in developing our software. So basically, we are just having these concepts, techniques uh, in our application development part.
Okay, hope that answer your question, Reza. And then next for CRB, in the tech industries, there are many code languages. So, what is the most common use by industries, and what should we learn as a beginner?
hmm I mean, it's like a simple question, right? To what programming language would you suggest to me, or something like that. But actually, it is hard to suggest something, uh, like because we are suggesting with this perspective now, and then like we already been honed into something. So on my perspective only, I would love to suggest into C languages, C sharp, because I myself, I just love creating desktop applications and something. But if you want to go with the trend, go with Android, go with web technologies. That is really in demand right now, like the Python, the AI, ML, machine learning. That's also a great way. Uh, but when we were at school, the first language we were taught was actually a C++. So, I mean, it's easy to understand at first, and then later on with the C++, our logical skills has been developed. And then once the logical skills, the logical capability is there, I don't think that programming languages would matter. will have that big uh, will have that big difference. I mean, we can learn
Mm.
syntaxes, but it is hard to uh, to learn the logical skills. That's the hard part. So languages for me, C sharp, C++, I go with that one. I'm an old soul. So okay.
So yeah, I think it's really depends as well, based on your
Yeah.
interest. So whether you
Mm-hmm.
want to go with the front end engineers or back end engineers,
Mm-hmm.
web or mobile, it's also different.
Yes.
So back to the tips that we already shared earlier, I think it's better to learn about the fundamental first, and then you can apply it into a
Mm-hmm.
different type of language later. So yeah, hope this answer your questions. And next, we also have questions here. What steps do sophomores need to take to make the most of their time in order to land a software engineer job before they even graduate?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh, Programming jobs are not about reading. It's more about implementation. It is more about actual creating of project. Even small projects. Start creating small projects. Little by little, make it bigger and then bigger, so you can grasp and you can acclimate yourself into development part. So our industry, software engineering, technology, programming, we learn by doing things, by actually implementing things. So start implementing something, even if that is a small project.
Yeah, I think if you're sophomores and you want to get a job
Mhm.
before you even graduate, I think first do projects, and then the next step probably you can start looking for internship that you can also work on the real life projects itself. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's similar with
Mhm.
Dairin's
Yes,
suggestions earlier.
and actually, it is also a great effect if how I don't know how to pronounce, but
But
it is
five
also great.
yeah.
Yeah, so it is also great uh, to to go or to be with some software engineers in their place. Try to see how
Mm,
they do things. Like try to be a mentee to that
mm-hmm.
mentor, and yes, so from there, join communities.
Yeah, something like shadowing the how software
Mm-hmm.
engineer works, like how what the tools they use and stuff like that. You can learn when
Yes.
they
Mm-hmm.
do the shadowing things. Yeah, agree, agree.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this answer your questions. Next we also have another questions from Givari. Do you still exercise coding like little after works? How to manage the time, especially when you have a tough day to study?
Hmm. Uh, I would say yes in a way. And how do I manage the time, especially when you have tough day to study? Um, a simple word like time management, but actually it is hard to do it. But comfort and progress doesn't coexist. So we need to sacrifice a couple of things. We need to balance. We cannot just focus in one thing and then uh, we sacrifice our study. So just try to balance it, and don't overwhelm yourself with all the technologies, with all the great platforms. Try to focus on one thing, and then acclimate from there. And yeah, tough day, just ride a bike, get a perspective. If you have that coder's block, I do that, so I am walking the talk. So every time I do not know how to solve something, my boss would also say maybe you need to ride your bike around the corner, around the block. So yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't see any more questions from the chat, so we still have few more time. So if you have questions, feel free to put that on the comment. I also have a follow-up questions for you, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you manage like several features and several bugs as well, right? How, as a software engineers, you manage your time and do your project management basically to make sure that every task that assigned to you is always delivered on time and on track.
Mm-hmm. How do I manage my time?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
As a software engineer.
how do I manage my time as a software engineer?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I manage my time? Well, they always say have the 888, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work, 8 hours me time. But we all know that's a lie. So I try to I mean, if you love your work, oh yeah, a friend once told me also that if we get that satisfaction in our work, you cannot blame that person if that person uh, chooses to stay 12 hours in the office because that person enjoys it. That person finds her or his job helpful, fulfilling, and yes, so managing your time depends on what are your priorities. So if your priority is your career growth, so you manage your time more or you give a bigger fraction of your time in learning new skills, learning new
Mm-hmm.
technologies or something like that. But if your main priority is your well-being, so practice that one 8 hours and that's it. So it really depends. And if you were to ask about me, I try to. I mean, I enjoy while I work, and my boss is really just great. I don't like, for example, I don't need to tell lies just to have a leave or a sick leave, something like that. So in that part, I have, I will say I have that work life balance. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a good boss will really make a big difference in your time
So
management.
find your boss. Find a good boss.
Yes,
That's the
yes.
key.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. Hmm.
Okay, okay, okay. And how, when you assign to a task, for example,
Hmm.
a specific features that need to be
Hmm.
released, like a certain amount of weeks, like how
Hmm.
you manage the time to make
Like
sure that
creating.
that
Ah.
specific feature will be released on time.
Mhm. I really have so many funny stories. Every time we do critical thinking or management, or yes, product, analyzing some features with my boss, he would always say, actually, the best way to estimate something is you increase the unit. For example, the programmer will say 3 days, increase it 3 weeks, something like that. And he always tell that. I mean, I get the point. Like for example, we always estimate in the best case scenario unconsciously. So we
Mm.
will not have that. I mean, if they say have 20% more, sometimes it is not enough for to like that one. So that is also the reason why we practice the document, test, implement. So we
Mm-hmm.
can always stick with our estimates. And yes, so stick with the flow or your what principles you are practicing with your company. And yes, you can. I mean, I am not a good. I'm not good in estimating, but my boss knows me. So we always have that common ground. So yes.
That's nice.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, is there any new questions from the participants? I didn't see one. So I think we can just wrap up the sessions.
Hmm.
Oh, before we wrap up, I want to ask you, if you can give like one tips for our participants here, um,
Mm-hmm.
for their growing their careers, like what will you say to them, or
Uh-huh.
probably not to them lah, or probably what will you say to yourself when you will graduate and finding a job?
Mm-hmm. What would I say to my previous self before?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Dairin in 20 years old, 20 years old Dairin.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's the year. I mean, that's the age I graduated. Actually, I'm a late bloomer. I mean,
Hmm.
uh, I'm a good student, but I was not active in school activities, joining clubs. If if I were to go back, I would try to make it a 50-50 academe and then clubs, because clubs will hone
Mm.
also your leadership skills, your soft skills, your leadership, your communication skills, your the way you interact with people, the way you will later on sell yourself. That would really be a big help in your succeeding years in the tech industry. So 20-year-old self, don't just be books and books and books, but also try to meet other people in the industry. And yeah, my career would be different, I mean, if I did that. But I am actually just happy and be saying this one. And yes.
Okay, thank you, Dairin. So, for our
Thank you so
participants,
much.
that's the tips from Dairin. Um, if you are now in the university, don't only focus on your academic, but also focus on growing your network and your leadership skills. So, when you are ready to work, probably your network can help you as well. So, okay, that's all from us today. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you.
Please stay tuned to our next sessions about getting to know the rules as well as I think the next sessions will be how to prepare your career. So yeah, stay tuned on our website, and we will also email you once we have the new schedule. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend. See you again
Thank you.
later.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.